The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Is the moment fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
Good morning. Welcome. 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. Coming to you Sunday morning, as usual, for right now anyway. I am your host, Scuba. On the other side of the glass for me is our co-host and contributor, producer of something, the coach, Zach.
What's going on?
What's happening, my brother?
You know, I don't know. I'm tired.
Well, me too.
I didn't sleep well. We got home late. I don't understand it.
I'm pretty tired. I was up till just after 2 o'clock.
Oh,
Car
God.
finally rolled in the sack and got up just a couple hours ago. Not even a couple hours ago. About an hour and a half ago. So I am slightly unprepared as well.
Well, here's the thing. It's like I'm so upbeat today. It's like I have the show, and then I got to go coach some Lutz Chiefs football later today. So it's going to be a long day for me.
Where?
Really?
Where?
Listen, what does your day today consist of, Scuba?
Well, hopefully nothing like yesterday. Yesterday was my big day, so my big long day. And
That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping that today I will not have such an active day today.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of stuff around the house, but most likely, hopefully, going to relax and probably try to get a nap in, but I'm unlikely that's going to happen with the kid.
People take naps.
People with get no sleep take naps.
Okay.
I usually don't get them in though, so.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, did you, we had a fun day yesterday. No lie.
No, it was good.
It was all right. Unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Storm did fall short.
Yeah.
Again, damn it.
This time was just, I don't know. And it was, I don't even know what to say. It was brutal. They played a good first half, and they were clearly better than the Spokane Shock. And they just had a chance at the end of the half to, instead of up by 1, to go up by 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
And as par for the course, miss a wide open receiver in the end zone, decide to throw it to the one that's in double coverage. Interception. Halftime comes, and they're only up by 1, which, it's at least it's a lead, which is fine. But the other, Spokane comes out in the second half. They get the ball first. They score, and it wasn't. There was nothing we could do after that. They Storm were held to 2 scores the entire second half, which is just, first of all, inexcusable and almost unheard of in arena football. Clearly, we have issues at quarterback, and we've been saying it for weeks now. They brought in a new quarterback this week, and they must not have felt that he was quite ready. Although they brought him in the week before, for a workout, he didn't really get any practice time until signing him this week, which, I guess you don't want to put a guy in there that's only been running your offense for a couple days. I can understand that, I suppose. However, the guy they brought in, he does have some arena football experience. He's also most recently was in Canada, where he played in the Grey Cup championship game, and he didn't really play. He was kind of a backup, but He's been in the CFL for about the last 3 years. And so we're glad to have him. Honestly, I'd be surprised if he wasn't the starting quarterback next week. And we'll see what happens. But it's clear in the undertones of some of the players, the coaches who can't obviously and won't obviously come right out and say it. It's evidently clear that they are not behind their quarterback. They do not trust him, do not have faith in him. And quite honestly, I don't blame them. I cannot tell you how many times we had open receivers last night that were horrifically overthrown, horrifically missed, and not even thrown to because somebody decides that this is the NFL and wants to take 5, 6, 7 foot 7-step drops when this is a 3-step drop league. You do not have that much time. You need to get rid of the ball. And this is a running theme with this quarterback, and unfortunately, all you hear from him are excuses.
And that's my biggest issue, and I've been saying it since day one, Scuba, is all he does is make excuses, okay? Joe Hills was wide open.
Joe was open last night several times. Amari Jackson.
And here's the thing, and he sits here and he's just like, oh, well, the line didn't block for me. Oh, my arm
and that started to piss them off later, too.
My arm didn't do this. And it's like, dude, no one gives a damn. Seriously?
And honestly, he can blame that all he wants, but it's because he's not getting rid of the ball fast enough. So in his mind, it appears like it's the line's fault. He's been given plenty of time to get rid of the ball. It's just the point when he decides it's time to get rid of the ball, it's damn near too late. And so he's getting hit when he's throwing the ball, or he's taking a sack he shouldn't be taking. But clearly, and outside of our own media access, my seats are the 2 seats right next to the team bench, and that's right where the receivers will sit. And then, as far as it goes, last night we'll mope. And you can just overhear the things that are going on that bench. And, what I hear a quarterback making a lot of excuses, and his excuses are pissing off his teammates. And that's not going to work out too well. When you start making excuses, especially when you start saying your line's not blocking for you when they clearly are, that starts to piss them off.
Oh my God. How much better protection could they have given him?
Well, that's what I mean. So
6, 7, sometimes 8 seconds, and he would still scramble around to both pockets and look like a complete buffoon.
While missing open receivers in the meantime. And while you walked away for a moment, that's kind of what I was saying. So he actually started pissing off his offensive linemen too. And,
piss off Mario. I dare you.
Well, it's not him. It's not him particular that I'm referring to. It's another. I'm not going to mention names because I'm not going to call out guys. On this show, when I hear stuff that they're saying on the bench and so forth. But what I do see and what I can hear, these guys do not have a lot of faith in this guy in Randy Hibbard. I don't have a lot of faith in Randy Hibbard. I didn't have a lot of faith in him last year. I certainly don't have any in him this year. So I'm hoping that this was the last week of him, at least as a starter. Mm-hmm. And we'll see something from B.J. Hall, and hopefully he'll be the answer we're looking for.
You hope so. B.J. Hall, I mean, you said he did have some experience. He now is... What, he's been with the Storm 2010, you said?
He was with them briefly in 2010. He's been with several teams before that, but he's been in the Canadian Football League for about the last 3 years, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, even though we lost one of our best... Ooh, what are you doing?
Completely my fault.
I know, you're messing around back there. It's twice you've done something to my microphone.
Well, when the settings are... jacked on the board.
They're working fine, so
okay.
Stop messing with it.
Sorry.
Anyway, we didn't really lose one of our best receivers. I mean, he was getting a little bit disgruntled himself, and so who knows if he's going to come back to the team or not. And we'll have to see. But
It just bothers me. It's like, Scuba, we talked about this last week. It's like it's the ego thing, and unfortunately, and I'm not dogging Justin Hilton at all, because I am not one to talk about egos. But let me tell you, the thing is, though, it's like when you're playing a team sport, your ego needs to be put in check severely. You need to stop, because here's the thing. There's 4 receivers, 5 receivers on that team. You may not be the number one, Justin. I apologize.
and even if you are the number one, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the only one.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And you have to you can't. This league is not designed to be a prima donna. You cannot be in this league like you can in the NFL, where you can be the one guy and a Chad Johnson in the heyday, a Terrell Owens in the heyday. Those guys that demanded that they were the number one guy, and there was no question about it. Arena football, you have to set your egos aside, because it is such a fast game. It's a different game, and everybody's going to get a chance. Everybody's going to get a ball. And, you might be the guy one week, get 4 or 5 touchdowns. You might be the guy the next week that doesn't get any. And that's kind of what was happening with Justin, because he started off big, and then he was having a week where he wasn't getting much. And I guess that just started to take its effect on him. But, we've got talented receivers, and you got to be able to spread the ball around. You should use that as a blessing, not as something other than what it is.
Well, it typically is a blessing, Scuba, but then when you have Randy Hibbert at quarterback, who can't hit any of the 5 receivers on the roster, and that's the thing, is, did you not realize, and I'm sure you have, they're having to throw 5-yard passes, 6-yard passes, because he can't hit anybody.
No, his accuracy is it's hideous. It's beyond comprehension how horrible his accuracy is. He can't even throw it. He can throw a deep ball, but it's in the stands. It's 10 feet past the receiver. It's a floating. It might as well put wings on the football. His passes got nothing but no zip behind him. And, he had one other interception as well. Trying to throw into double coverage. There was a moment when the receiver was open, but because his ball has wings on it and it's actually floating, it was easy to pick off. He's got no zip whatsoever on the ball. And that was something we mentioned last season. I was like, man, he's got a rag arm, has nothing behind it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I'm not usually one to be here to, slam a guy, especially a team that that I follow and have for quite a long time. But I got to put all that aside. It is what it is. I feel bad because our other weak spot on our team, the secondary, actually stepped up quite well last night. We got Chris Smith was back, our best defensive back. So we got the Smith twins back in there, and it was able to shift Donald Smith, his brother, over to his natural spot. And the secondary really played a significantly better game than last week for dang sure. But the offense just couldn't keep up with what the defense was giving them last night, and it's a shame. It's a shame. If they can get those two things together, they can get back right back on track. The season's not lost. The season's not over.
No, what do we have, 11 games left?
Yeah, this is game 7. The good thing is that one of the other teams in our division that we're sitting there with, Jacksonville, they lost again last night. Unfortunately, Orlando won again, so they're 5-2. We slipped to 3-4.
So we're in second. Correct?
Yeah. You got to look at the overall playoff positions too. The other teams that are around.
Yeah.
So I believe they're still in a playoff spot. It's too early to start even talking about playoffs right now. But they can rebound. They're gonna have to win this week. They're gonna have to beat Portland coming up Saturday, and encourage everybody to come out. Look, they're struggling right now. It's fine. It's still a good time out, good night out. You can always meet us if you'd like. That's awesome. But
we are pretty awesome, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a good family night out, and you can interact with the players before and after sometimes, and and it's cheap, and it's just if you got nothing else going on a Saturday night, I encourage you to come check it out. I mean, when I finally checked it out when I moved here, it was back in '93. I fell in love with the sport. It's fun. You take it for what it is, and it's very enjoyable. But not to just remain all negative. I mean, there were some positive things, which I mentioned. The secondary played well, and then we've got Michael Lindsay, a wide receiver / specialist, and he last night he's our primary kick returner. And he last night broke the franchise record for return yards, beating ironically, breaking the record held by our head coach and Hall of Famer, Lawrence Samuels. It is kind of a big deal. Lawrence Samuels was, the guy. And quite honestly, I did not realize that Michael had that many return yards up to this point. I mean, he had been one of our top guys for sure. He hasn't quite broke one yet, which is kind of getting a little frustrating, but he does get some yards on his returns. He's very good at it. And, Michael Lindsay's one of the guys I enjoy having on this team because, he's got his work ethic is, next to none. And he's passionate. And I really like this kid.
And as Coach said, he definitely comes to practice. He works. He's one of the hardest working players on that team. You know?
Yeah. We'll play an interview by him because he's one that we did interview last night. And, in his own words too, the team quit last night in the second half. I mean, they did. And and it was clear. I mean, you could see, like I said, you could see it on the bench. The receivers were getting tired of not, being wide open and the ball going to the absolute wrong place or going into the fans in the stand, and it just is what it is. And they're gonna have to fix it. I reckon there's going to be some further changes made this week. I think there's going to be some guys that aren't going to be here anymore, and going to be some new guys in. I mean, and that's just the way it is in this league. I was talking to the vice president of football operations last night, Jeff Gooch, former linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, also one of Derek Brooks' good friends, and he really. Sat there and talked to me for a few minutes last night about, exactly these kinds of things that, that's the way the Arena League works. The Arena League doesn't allow you a practice squad, at all. So
which surprised me when you told me that.
Yeah, I honestly thought that they did, or I thought, they had designated a list, but they do not. They don't even have it. And he's just like, man, if they could just give me a practice squad, just 6 guys or something. And I said, hey, heck, even like 3 or so. He said, I would love it. I would take that. Because the problem is that you only have limited roster space. So when you need to replace somebody or put someone down there, somebody else has to go. And when they go, they're gone. It's not like you can just bump them to a practice squad and they're still your rights. If you let a guy go, unless he's put on one of the designated lists, you can lose him. And, so that makes it very difficult, but the Arena League also this is not a league like the NFL where you have time to let a guy develop. You have to be ready to play, or you're not going to be around very long. There's not enough time in the Arena Football League to develop guys. You don't develop guys. You have to get guys in that are ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's why each year you really see drastic roster changes. You might see a whole, mostly a whole brand new team. You'll have a few guys back, but mostly you're going to see a lot of roster turnovers. Either it's guys that have gotten opportunities in the NFL, Canadian Football League, or just decided, hey, this isn't for me. Maybe my days of playing football are done. Or the team just decides that it's not a guy that they want back. So you'll see on a lot of the rosters there, you'll see when you look at like experience, you'll see a lot of, R's for rookie or 1 year or 2 years. You're not going to see a whole lot of experience. I mean, up until picking up TT Tolliver a couple weeks ago, the Storm, that was basically their roster, was R's and 1s and 2s. TT's been playing in this league now. This is his 12th year. And, but those kind of guys are few and far between. And for him, for a guy like that, he's just doing it for the fun of it. He's doing it for the love of the game and enjoys playing and so forth. I mean, this is not a league where you're going to make a lot of money. It's just not. And, but we'll see what happens. I'm not giving up on them. I truly believe and see the good that this team has. It's just these last couple weeks have been atrocious and it's been very difficult to watch.
Yeah, remember, folks, don't let what we're saying keep you away from the games. Definitely come out to the games. They're great, so much fun. They're playing the Portland
Timbers. I don't know.
I don't know. They're Portland.
It's a new team.
They're playing Portland this Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. I believe it's Military or Support Your Troops night or whatever
That's
it is.
true.
Yeah, so definitely come out. Tickets are cheap, man. They are cheap for first level. Great seats. Just great atmosphere. Remember, folks, this isn't the league of 1990 whatever.
Yeah, it's
changed.
Exactly, and it's kid friendly.
Yeah.
It's not like going to a Bucks game. You're not going to be sweating. You're not going to be hot. You're not going to be stuck next to 300-pound drunk fat guy. And
you're stuck next to me, minus the drunk part.
That's true. So all right, well, so you will be. You might get stuck next to a 300-pound fat guy, but for the most part, you're not. You don't get the drunken slobs and the cursing and a lot of the stuff that you get at the NFL games. And
and a lot of people, if they've ever seen an LA Kiss game, there are no dancers in cages at our games, folks. Because the LA Kiss, they do have cages around there with dancers in it. Folks, that's not how it is over here. This is a great atmosphere, family friendly. Come out to the games. Tickets are what? I think they're $10 for lower level.
Yeah, if that.
They're great. Get your butts out here, folks.
Right. Got nothing else going on Saturday night? Bring the kids out. It's you go there and half the crowd are kids. It's you get to go on the field afterwards. And run on the field, and you get to interact with the players, and the kids can get autographs, and
you get to meet us and get autographs from us.
That's true. Wait, and you took part in a little photo session last night?
I did. I had several. Let me tell you, it was a team called from the Brandon Cowboys who I've actually coached against. They came up to me. They wanted a picture. They wanted me to talk to their kids. And
now let's clarify exactly.
If it wasn't for Scuba. Well, here's the thing: is I'm sitting there talking to Scuba, and he's like, "Are you a coach?" And he's like, "No, this guy's the coach." And Scuba pointed at me, went over there.
Well, what really happened is, because of the polo shirt that I'm wearing, and the way I, the hat and everything, they thought that I was a part of the team.
Well, we are.
Sort of, but they thought, as part of like being on the staff and so forth. And he's like, "Hey, coach, can you come over here?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not a coach." He's like, and then their coach gave me a look like, "Oh, just go with it." And I was like, I can't go with it because I'm not a coach, and I really don't want to be a part of this youth football team of yours. But but you were right next to me, and you are a coach, and I was like, "Yeah, but he's a real coach." And so I sent Zach over there,
and I did a nice photo with somebody, and I also, I got photos with several people actually.
You did.
It's pretty funny.
You were a photobombing fool last night.
And not only that, but I ate the living hell out of the Tampa Bay Times Forum.
Good Lord. I thought you were, I thought I was watching I thought I was going to see the clip from Monty Python's Meaning of Life, where the guy just keeps eating and eating and eating.
Did I really eat that much?
Dude.
What?
You every moment, I'm going to get some more food. I'm going to get me some more food. I need some cookies. More cookies.
Hey, let me tell you something, though. I had less cookies than I've ever had in my life, but I had more brownies.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you substituted that with
great
big
chocolate
brownies.
Chip brownies. Thank you.
goodness.
Brought to you by the Tampa Bay Times Forum media personnel.
Good
Thank
Lord.
you so much, Ben Schotten.
This guy, every time I look around, he's shoveling something down his gullet. It's unbelievable. And then you have the gall to say that if I if they just didn't make soda or cookies, I'd lose 50 pounds.
It's true.
Well, how about you shut your mouth and not shovel soda and cookies in your mouth?
Here's the thing, though. If they stopped making cookies and they stopped making soda, the amount of weight that I would lose would just be insane.
Or you could just say no.
It's a lot. Let me tell you something. And like I said last night, I've been told that I'm going to die by the age of 60 or 50 or 40.
I'm putting some money on that. With that, I
with
saw the way you hoarded down that sausage.
With the way I was eating. That's what she said again.
Yeah,
but you know what?
You do eat.
What did I tell Scuba? I said, hell, but you lived your 40 years, a great 40 years. I just hope that.
Well, it was more like that you were still eating that big old sausage.
I just hope that I don't have to get something amputated, because that would suck.
Seriously, I mean, this guy shovels down like a big old plate of pulled pork and baked chicken and mashed potatoes. And then goes and shovels down like 15 brownies, and then leaves one
for you,
for me. And Morty went, "Oh, well, I left one up there for you." Jeez. And then we're walking out, and I'm still hungry. Is the VIP open yet? Let's see what they want.
And I went over to the VIP and had a big brisket sandwich, and I had a sausage.
A big brisket sandwich. No, that sausage even came later. So then you go over to the other place, and you're eating a big old brisket sandwich.
Yeah.
More cookies.
I had two more cookies.
And whatever else you shoveled on that plate.
It was, I also had some Italian sausage mac and cheese.
Yeah, that's right. You had the mac and cheese on there. And so I think you're done, and then you're running back and getting more cookies. Well, and then come around halftime, you're going back there again, and then you're shoveling down a big old kielbasa. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I was hungry. Dude.
Look, here's the thing, Scuba, and coaching takes a lot out of a man, okay? And I was coaching all day, and then I went up to the Storm game and stopped looking at me like that.
My goodness.
But anyway, real quick, we have our guest coming on in about 2 minutes, and I think what we should do to pass those... Oh, I think he's actually calling in now.
How is he?
He is.
Well, we didn't even get a chance to play a song first.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, why'd you text him so early?
I didn't. I said 2 minutes.
Well, we didn't even get a chance. We didn't even get a chance to introduce you and play a song first. On the phone with us is my brother from another mother, literally. My stepbrother, Brandon. He plays in a band called Still Child. They are based out of Iowa. I will let him tell you a little bit more about them. But we got him on the line, and a little bit of, he's in the car right now, so he's going to have a little bit of static, but we wanted to have him on. We just played some of their music last week. We're going to play some more this week. And
yeah, Brandon, do us a favor. Pull over, get out of your car, and walk 15 steps from your car, and then do this interview.
I am actually in a gas station just outside Iowa City at the moment.
Excellent. So. Well, Brandon, tell us a little bit about your band. How long you guys been together, and so forth.
Well, the band was originally formed in 2007. I've only been in the band about 6 or 8 months, I guess, something like that. So.
So they were desperate for a guitar player.
Ouch.
Yeah, they were desperate, and they found me, sitting on the side of the road. I agreed to play, and, the rest is history.
sitting there with your guitar case open, having a bunch of random bystanders throw dollars in there.
That's what I was doing. Yep, I was that guy on the corner. The band is comprised of the vocalist Felicia and the drummer Ed. They are husband and wife, and then we have me, of course, on guitar, and then my son, who is the bass player. And we have a sampler, a synth player. Her name is Shade. So it's a 5-piece band. We're basically a metal band, kind of a metal/goth band. But all of our music is pretty much like anti-drug, anti-bullying, anti-suicide types. That's what we write about. So all of our stuff has a real positive message to it.
And that's good too, because when you say that genre of music, I know a lot of people will probably just roll their eyes, but
right.
I think there's a misconception about that level of music, whether it be metal or goth metal or an in betwixt genre like that, but I exactly what you're saying is that, you know, you can have that kind of music and still put a positive spin and positive message in the music now. And I hear that in these songs. Now, these are original songs, are they not?
They are correct. Yep.
Now, is it a collaboration effort? Is there a single songwriter in the band, or how does it?
Basically, Alicia writes all the lyrics and basically comes up with the foundation of the music. But we all write our own individual parts. She pretty much, you know, when she writes the song, has an idea, and she presents the idea to the band, and then we kind of do our own thing with it and come up with what we have. So
excellent. Now, is she strictly the only vocalist, or I mean, is it all female vocal bases? I guess is what I'm asking.
She is currently the only vocalist. We are working with Shade, who was our sample and synth player, to do some backups and some harmonies with her. So it kind of fills that out a little bit because I can't sing. So
that much we know.
Well, and Brandon, remember if you guys ever need a singer, I sing like a combination of Fergie and Jesus.
What's on?
Well, if we need somebody,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, if we need somebody on our next album, I'll keep you in mind. There.
Great.
We'll get you. You know.
I don't know that Zach would do well in Iowa. Iowa might be a few cows after Zach gets there.
Hey,
the way he eats, let me tell you. But anyway, tell us what's going on with the band right now. What are you guys up to? And what's on the shelf for you guys?
Today we are playing. Actually, it's a travel day for us. We are playing in Moline, Illinois, at Rascals Live for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund benefit.
Diabetes. I'm close.
There's going to be 9 bands there. It's going to be an all-day event, a real good event. We're real happy to be playing that. Then we're going to take about a month break because Alicia has to have surgery on her vocal cords on Tuesday. So we're going to have a little bit of downtime. But we do have shows booked after that, the end of May, June, July, August, September, but pretty much through the end of the year. We're currently trying to get stuff re-recorded to ship off to a record company that we will be signing to. I would give you the name, but I can't do that at the moment.
That's fine. You share that when you're ready. Share that when you're ready.
Yeah. As soon as I get the okay to do that, I will be more than happy to do that. But so we have a label that's interested, and we will be signing with them here shortly. So
that's awesome.
We'll be out there to do it, and hopefully do it nationwide. I hope.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. And it's funny. I Brandon and I are very close in age. I'm a little bit older, actually, and to think that his son now is actually playing in the band and driving the car right now, I believe. I'm dumbfounded. I've got to be honest with you, seeing as that I got a daughter that's about to turn 1 here in a week, and you've got a grown man first already, quite a few actually, but that's another issue altogether. So you'll be signing with the record label soon, and are you guys gonna be putting out an album or anything like that, or?
That's what we're doing. We're getting ready to cut all the rough tracks so we can send the rough tracks out to California to be reamped and mastered and everything. So we were hoping for June to be able to drop the new CD, but it's probably with everything that's going on, it's probably going to be a little later than that. But hopefully still by the end of the year, we'll have that out.
Excellent. Now, outside of the couple songs that you've provided for us to play from time to time, is there? Do you guys have an avenue or a way for other people that may be interested in listening to pick up the songs or listen to them? Do you have is there a website or?
There is stuff on YouTube. I know that there is still some older stuff floating around out there that we kind of don't promote because of the re-recording of a lot of this stuff. So basically, if it's on our Reverb Nation page or our Facebook page, Twitter page, or on YouTube, that's pretty much what we've got right now.
Gotcha. Well, what are those pages? And we'll put those out there if you have is there like a Reverb page you said? So what's that? If people want to go check that out.
What was that?
Where can people check you out? You said your Reverb page and so forth.
Yeah, there's ReverbNation.com. We are also on Twitter, Facebook, and then obviously we have live videos and one production video on YouTube.
Excellent. And the band is called Still Child, STILLCHYLD, and you can check them out. Now, where did that name come from?
I wish I had Alicia here with me because it's Still Child is 100% her baby, and she would be able to explain that to you more than I would.
Gotcha.
But it's that's kind of she's not here with me at the moment, so.
Gotcha. Well, I understand, but anyway, I know you got to get running. And I just wanted you to check in. I want to talk to you a little bit about the band, promote them a little bit. They are based out of Muscatine, Iowa, and I believe, is that right? Or
the band's basically based out of Clinton, Iowa.
Clinton, Iowa. Okay,
yeah.
Not too far away. Yep. So somewhat the Quad City area.
Correct.
Be able to check them out. I mean, obviously we're more local here, but we do promote all bands. So if you want to check them out on Facebook. Just look for them on YouTube, and we'll hopefully look for that album or CD soon. And obviously we'll look forward to playing some more of your music here. We'll do it after we break with you. We'll play one of your songs, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and ask Scuba. I'm boldly honest when it comes to radio and music, and I would definitely, you have some great stuff out here, and the stuff that we have listed in our tracks, you have some great stuff.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, we look forward to playing it, and Brandon, I appreciate you taking the time to call in here on your road trip, and we'll talk soon. As got to get you down here to Tampa, man. We got to get you to a Bucks game.
I'd love to come down there. Yeah, hook up for a Bucks game or something.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll send you my information. So if you need a backup singer, I've definitely got your back.
All right, I'll keep that in mind, buddy.
All right, Brandon. Well, listen, talk to Lynn and get Dad and get yourself up down here in Durham when you're not playing, and we'll hit up a game.
All right, that'd be awesome.
All right, take care.
All right, take care, man.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you much.
Bye. All right, Brandon.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and his last name really isn't Stillchild, by the way. So
it's not?
Clarify. No, it's
not.
Well,
okay.
He just does that just for Facebook purposes.
Well,
so,
he's a boss, so
yeah.
it's all right.
He had, just, people have to change their name sometime on Facebook, so certain people don't find you. So,
leave me alone.
Right. So, So with that, check these guys out. They're really good. Yeah. They're in the golf metal genre, but they're really actually very charitable based band, and actually their music sends positive messages, and I still can't get over his son actually being in the band. It's kind of crazy to me, but at any rate, let's go ahead and break. We'll play one of their songs going out.
Michael G. Butash, attorney at law, is a former state prosecutor with substantial experience in handling all criminal and DUI matters. When you are facing charges, you want someone who aggressively defends cases ranging from minor traffic infractions to serious violent first-degree felonies. Call attorney Butash and together you'll discuss your case in person or by phone. He accepts most major credit cards and also offers payment plans. Call attorney Michael G. Butash today for your initial free consultation.
Start with that, just positives from this game. You set a new franchise record. What does that accomplishment mean? Have you had a little bit of time to reflect on it now?
Man, I don't even think it hit me yet, you know what I mean? But this is really an honor, man. You know, I broke the record 15 years ago, and it's a pleasure for me to come and break it, you know, in 4 years, you know what I mean? So I'm blessed, that's all I can say.
And is it just a product of hard work and dedication? The coach spoke highly of your work ethic.
Man, I'm not even going to sit up here and sugarcoat it, man. I work hard, you know. That's why good things happen to me, and when you work hard, you know, great things happen to you. So my work ethic is crazy.
So what do you think happened here in the second half? You guys looked like a little bit of a different team.
We just gave up, you know. To be honest, we gave up, man. We got to finish. You know, coach preach every day, finish, and that's what we preach on. But we didn't do it as a team tonight.
And what now moving forward? How do you turn the page on this?
We just go in next week, you know, execute our plays and just come back out and beat Portland. That's all.
Real quick, Mike, what else do you attribute, besides the hard work, what else do you attribute to getting those returns and the blocking up front, things like that?
I mean, those guys up there, if it weren't for those guys since 2011, man, those guys, whoever was in front of me, the 7 guys, man, I appreciate them guys for blocking for me, you know, and I appreciate the teammates that I got now for blocking for me. And all I do, man, I just study real hard and just, you know, whenever I see it, I hit it.
There we go.
That was Michael Lindsay, who we just talked about before, and his thoughts on the game, and try to be a little bit more positive and, you know, bring up his accomplishment there. But, you know, you heard it. You know, they quit or gave up, and you know, that's all there is about that. We move on next Saturday, and there we go. So, what else has gone on this week? Funky stuff. I don't know if you all have heard, and I hadn't even heard about it until Zach brought it up. And in fact, since you actually saw it first, Zach, and now it's obviously in the news quite a bit, why don't you go ahead and take this one?
Basically, Donald Sterling came out with a statement saying...
Who's Donald Sterling?
Donald Sterling is the owner of the Clippers.
The who?
The Clippers.
The LA Clippers, who are an NBA franchise, in case you weren't aware.
I love that look that you just gave me.
I mean, the look like, hello, don't just assume everybody knows what you're talking about.
Can you do that one more time?
No, because, well, the next thing that you say, probably I'll be able to.
Anyway, so the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, Donald Sterling, he came out with a statement basically stating, and I quote... What?
Well, it wasn't really, he didn't come out with a statement.
Oh, he sure as hell did.
No, what it was, maybe I should take this.
No, because I watched it on ESPN. I watched the initial report with Stephen A. Smith.
All right, but what it was is that he, basically what had happened is he was having a conversation between himself and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is, ironically, his girlfriend is actually... half African American, half Mexican, so that's what makes this even more disturbing. But so that's the lead in. And so it was a conversation, and it was caught on video or an audio, which was released by TMZ. That's what happened. So he didn't. It's not like when you say he came out and made a statement, you're making it sound like he came out and made a press conference and made this statement. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, well, and the gist of it is he said that he does not want any, and quote, any African Americans to attend the LA Clippers games from now on.
Well,
what a douche.
Well, what he basically had said is that, and I'm looking at verbatim. He's railing into his girlfriend. Now, mind you, this was before it was his girlfriend. It was actually his mistress. And so let's clarify that too, just to kind of give you an idea of the kind of character this guy is. But he was railing her for associating with black people and posting a photo on Instagram with posing with Magic Johnson, former Laker legend, and amongst other pictures and so forth. And one of his comments that he said, quote, "It bothers me a lot that you want to broadcast that you're associating with black people. Do you have to? You can sleep with them. You can bring them in. You can do whatever you want. The little I ask you is not promoted on that, and not to bring them to any games." And that's essentially what he said.
Which is insanity.
Yeah. So,
I mean, who the hell does he think he is?
right. And so, like I said, his girlfriend, now mind you, is a black Mexican or African American Mexican, however you want to call it. And he's so basically he's okay with it all as long as you do it in private and don't promote the fact that you're associating with Hispanics and black people. Now, you've got to understand, this guy, this isn't his first run-in with, racially charged events. Now, he has previously, settled with the government, where he was accused of, for $2.7 million, where he was once accused of not renting apartments specifically to Hispanics and blacks. This has happened back in 2006. He was actually sued by the Justice Department for housing discrimination in Koreatown as well. This guy obviously has made no secret about his lack of acceptance of other races. Let's put it that way. He was also sued by former general manager of his team and an African American and a big time former NBA player, Elgin Baylor. Sued him for wrongful termination. He also alleged racial and age discrimination. So this guy has got a pretty long track record, and he's not helping his cause any. As if he didn't have enough problems with having one of the historically worst franchises in the history of the NBA. Any resemblance of actually being successful in these last couple of years after stealing Chris Paul from the rival LA Lakers and some other moves they've got, becoming actually a very good basketball team. This is not going to help. And I'd be surprised now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because this reminds me a lot of before your time there, Zach, back when a former Cincinnati Reds owner, Marge Schott, got suspended from baseball for an entire year because of her derogatory comments about Jews and blacks way back, again, before your time. So this is a big challenge for a brand new NBA commissioner, Andy Silva is his name, and be interesting to see what happens. What have you been hearing about?
I've just been hearing, and the thing is, and this scuba is where Twitter comes in handy. Just for everybody at 2 Cent Zach. Magic Johnson has been tweeting left and right about it, and it's actually quite entertaining. I think Snoop Dogg had the best comment when he said, "Yeah, really? Well, I'm going to get a posse, and I'm going to bring them all to your games, bitch." But anyway, Magic Johnson's been tweeting left and right about it, and he's basically just trashing Donald Sterling, and he
was part of the subject matter of how all this came about anyway, so I'm certain he feels a little personal about it too.
Yeah, and he's been retweeting everything, and it's insane. And I'm trying to pull up some tweets right now. Here we go. Here they are. He says, TMZ reported this morning that Clippers owner Donald Sterling doesn't want me or other African Americans to come to Clippers games. And then he tweeted, and he said, "I will never go to a Clippers game again as long as Donald Sterling is the owner. I feel sorry for my friends, Coach Doc Rivers and Chris Paul, that they have to work for a man that feels the way he does about African Americans."
Yeah, and he just got Doc Rivers to take over as coach.
One of the best coaches in the NBA, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it just got him in there, and like I said, the there was some collusion going on and stole Chris Paul a couple years back. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen here, but I got to tell you, if I was an employee of this guy like Doc Rivers or Chris Paul as a player, I would be demanding a trade and a release from my contract as coach, and as a player, I'd be
Now, would they be released from the contract?
Well, if you don't release from the contract, you could conceivably resign or quit. Now, the problem with that being is that if you do that, I believe that you would not be able to be paid. Because you actually quit. But I think that they would still, because you are under contract, would still prevent you from taking any other jobs until such time that contract time period is over. I'm just guessing here. I don't know any of that for fact, but that would be my assumption, is that if you're under contract, if you quit, then you're not going to get paid because you quit, but that doesn't mean you can go and take another job right away, because otherwise guys would be doing that all the time. There'd be no point in signing contracts. You would just, I'm done here. I'm quitting. I'm going to go take this job. So I would say that he'd still probably have to wait until that contract period ended before you can take another job.
Now, real quick, I just wanted to ask you and everybody else, I have a video of Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and a few of the other top NBA players in the history of basketball commenting on this during a halftime report of one of the games that transpired yesterday. If it's bad quality, I apologize. Some audio issues with some of our videos. So you want me to play that?
Yeah, as long as it's not terrible.
All right, let's see how it sounds.
It's one thing to say something that's controversial, but it's another thing to say something that's very repugnant. The question is now, should this guy continue being an owner? That's the question. Should this guy continue being an owner? Everyone has their thoughts. Everyone has their opinions, but when your opinions and your thoughts become public knowledge, question is, now what? And then another question is, will his team shut down on him? Will his team take these remarks personally and say, you know what, we don't want to play for a guy like this? Unfortunate situation, but I think the league needs to take a very long, hard look on whether this guy should continue being an owner or not.
You can read these statements over and over. You can read the story over and over, and you still cannot believe what you're reading.
Well, first of all, you can believe it, because this has happened before. He settled a lawsuit years ago. Obviously he owns a lot of land and things also, and he settled a lawsuit that said he was discriminating against black and Hispanic. So this is habitual. This is the first test of Adam Silver. He's got to suspend him right now. First of all, they got to prove his voice on the tape, but this is the first big test from Adam Silver. You can't have this guy making statements like that. He has to suspend him and fine him immediately. He has to be suspended. Ernest, and the problem I have with it, if somebody want to be racist, that's all right. That's their thing. But when you're in a position of power and you can take jobs and economic opportunity from people, that's what crosses the line. But we cannot have an NBA owner discriminating against a league we're a black league, Ernie. We are a black league. I don't know the number, but I'd probably say 80% of our players are black.
How do you take this as a player?
Well, and he never answered it. The video actually cuts off there.
Yeah, I'm looking around too, seeing other people. Due to the nature of what is said, we cannot play the Snoop Dogg video.
Oh, you saw that? Oh my God, I was getting ready to download that.
Dude, we can't. There's way too many expletives.
You sure?
Yeah, man.
Oh, in the comment, if you guys want to go check it out on YouTube, it's Snoop Dogg says F word, Donald Sterling for racist comments.
Calls them the mother effer that owns the Clippers, and he has a few choice words.
Snoop Dogg curses out Donald Sterling for comments.
He has approximately 73 expletives in the message to Clippers owner Donald Sterling. So I am not. I'm not a person of virtue, and I do curse once in a while. Although I do try to refrain from doing so on this show. It does happen from time to time, especially when it gets heated. But I do try to keep it somewhat clean. but I'm not going to play a video that's got 73 expletives on it.
And here's
I'm just
the thing,
not going to do
folks,
it.
real quick, and this was uploaded 4 hours ago. This is something that's gotten so big, Barack Obama actually came out and made a statement about it.
Are you? I thought you were putting in a video. I'm sorry.
No, I can though.
Oh, no, that's fine. It's fine. I don't think it's necessary to harp on this, but I mean, this is pretty crazy. I don't know. I mean, I'm just gonna have to see how this all plays out because, he's the longest tenured NBA owner actually in the league right now, believe it or not, since Jerry Buss died from of the Lakers last year. So he's, one of these old established white old men, and this clearly explains a lot about why that franchise has been in such disarray since he's ever owned this team. It's horrible. It's horrible. And we're going to have to see. I mean, there's definitely going to be some action, but I think that...
well, what can they do to an owner?
Well, this is the same thing that they did to, like I said, Marge Schott came out, back in the 80s or early 90s, before your time, and she made a lot of... I mean, first of all I got to do is tell you she mentioned Hitler, and once you do that, you're never going to be able to come back from that. That's true. So she had some disparaging things to say about Jews and blacks, and how what Hitler was doing. He had he was right in what he was trying to do. He just went about it the wrong way, that kind of thing, and that got her suspended from baseball and any activities to do with her team for a year. A lot of people don't feel that was long enough, but so that's something that can happen. You can, although they still own the team, you can suspend them from having anything to do with the team. It happened to George Steinbrenner of the Yankees. In fact, same thing. He got suspended from the Yankees. They kept him out away from his team because of some wrongdoings, not racially charged things, but some other wrongdoings and so forth. And baseball suspended him from the Yankees for a good couple of years. So they do have the power to do that. Basically what happens is all your ownership control. It's not like you don't still own the team or anything, but you basically are not allowed to have any dealings with the team. You're not allowed to make decisions for the team. You basically would have to sign over, your executive power or rights to somebody else within the organization.
Now, are you allowed to completely get rid of an owner of a team? Can the commissioner get rid of an owner? Because here's the thing: is
they can. I don't know that they have the power to say you can no longer be an owner in this league. You need to go, kind of a thing. But they can probably make it very difficult, and they can probably do some things to kind of force your hand to make you have to sell your team.
And I think whatever they can possibly do, they need to do it. Mm-hmm. This isn't just people making racist, this isn't just a Jonathan Martin making, Richie Incognito thing, making racist jokes to each other and then commenting it on Twitter. This is huge, folks. This is an owner of a team telling African Americans not to come to his games.
Right.
Sick.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that that's what he really said. I kind of read the context of it, and he was telling his girlfriend not to bring them to the games. I don't.
Now, what does that? What does that tell you?
Oh no, I understand that, but let's not confuse it and make it seem like he came out and said, I don't want them coming to my games. And I'm not defending this guy by any means, because I'm certain in the back of his mind that he probably feels that way anyway. But what he was really I just want to be clear that in the context, at least from what I've read and heard, I haven't heard or read all of it yet, but from what I've seen, he was telling her not to bring them to the games. In other words, he didn't want her bringing Magic Johnson or any of these other African Americans and Mexicans or whomever she was associating with. He didn't want her bringing them to the game. So it's not like he came out and said, I don't want them coming to the game, like the whole population ever coming to his games. I think he was specifically talking to her about her bringing anybody specifically of that color or race to the games. So I just
Yeah,
want to
but the
clarify
thing
that.
is-
I'm
yeah,
sure
no,
in the
no,
back of
you're
his
right.
mind, though, he feels that
You're
he doesn't
right.
want them coming.
And let me
but-
tell you, he is a racist man.
Oh,
I
no
mean,
question. There's no question about that. And like I said, I am not defending him. All I was doing is setting some clarification.
No, and I'm right there with you. I mean, no, he did not come straight out and say, I don't want any African Americans at my games. But you know what? And just like you said, I think you said it perfect. I definitely think that that's what he was implying.
It's quite possible. I
mean, who the hell says Magic Johnson can't come to their games, for God's sake? Who the hell are you to tell that Magic Johnson cannot come to your games? One of the best basketball players in the history.
Yeah, well, I'm certain to some degree that it probably was a lot to do with that. But the people that he's got really pissed off and have a lot of power in that town, and of course most of them are all Laker fans anyway. Snoop Dogg and so forth. Don't think that they're not going to have a lot of pull and make sure that this man gets his wish, that they don't start going to these games. No one was going to those games for the longest time anyway. They've always. But the Lakers have been so bad lately. There have been some people that have actually been popping to the Clippers games. I'm guessing with a lot of these guys behind there, Mr. Sterling's going to get his wish, and he won't have to worry about seeing any of them there. So it's going to be really.
You know what they
interesting.
should do is they should get, and I'm not trying to be racist here. I think you should get a full group, and get your asses in those seats. Show Donald Sterling what's up.
So take an opposite effect as opposed to not showing up at all.
Show
up in force.
Show up, everyone. Yeah, exactly. I'm serious. I think because the thing is though is if you don't show up, you're giving the man what he wants. I say you show up and you make this guy. Well, I mean, what's he gonna do? Go to every seat or come out to the court? Ladies and gentlemen, security. I would like every African American out of here.
Well, here's the inherent problem. If you do that. Because then you're actually putting money in this man's pocket. And you're also giving him what he wants. So you're better off not showing up and giving him what he wants there. And then also, you're hitting him where it hurts in his wallet, right?
Okay.
That makes a little more sense. Because
right.
if you go there just to piss him off and to spite him, you're still having to pay to go. You're still
right.
having to buy food and drink in there. So that's money going into his pocket.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. You're right.
And so then you're kind of almost showing, you're showing support, but then you're also showing support with him too by providing him money. So I got
a feeling I'm going to see shirts or some type of gear that someone's wearing in the stadium that is making fun of him.
Right. I mean, maybe for one game it would be a kind of a cool thing to do, and you could actually everybody come. You know how they like to do blackouts. You could literally do a blackout and everybody come like in black shirts, and then all. That would just be that just for one game. I mean, they're not going to do it now because they're in the
everyone wear bags over their heads.
I mean, they're not going to do it now because it's the playoffs and so forth.
Playoffs?
What? Yeah, no, the Clippers in the playoffs. That's kind of a funny thing too. But
when you have Blake Griffin's Blake Griffin,
and Chris Paul,
Chris Paul,
who should have been a Laker, by the way. But
you're not a Laker. You're not a Laker fan, are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, Jesus.
But I don't really.
Come on.
But honestly, I don't even really watch or care about the NBA.
Yeah,
anymore,
nobody does anymore.
It sucks. But no, I'm a Laker fan. I have always been. But I can take it or leave it anymore. I've gotten to that point. I just don't really care about the NBA too much. But this was a subject matter that needed to be discussed.
And remember, folks, you can call in 813-639-8255 on the Butash and Donovan hotline.
Yeah, if you haven't, yes, that's a good point. Butash and Donovan hotline. So, yeah, if anybody else has any different opinions, but I would love to.
I have a feeling, though, that everyone's going to agree with our opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would hope that there aren't any dissenting ranks out there to think that there's anything remotely right about any of this, and there's just not. And, it goes along another subject we talked about a couple weeks ago, in my opinion.
What? Oh,
yeah. We're not going to bring it up
I think
again.
we should.
Well, we're not going to do it today.
Okay.
So.
Because the thing is we do have some more stuff to talk about, and that would cause an argument till about 1:55.
Yeah.
And that's 55 minutes over showtime.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, let's take another quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk. There's actually a big UFC fight last night. We've got some baseball, and of course, hockey playoffs have been going on. So we'll take a quick break. If you have any comments on anything we already talked to up to this point, feel free to call us in on the Butash and Donovan hotline. Like Zach said, 813-639-8255. I'm more than happy to take your call. and we'll be right back.
With the new year coming up, many people are going to be heading back to the gym and trying to lose weight. Nutrition is key. So, if you want to have awesome results and compete in a 90-day challenge where you can win free product, prizes, and vacations, join the Body by V Challenge with 2013 finalist Joe Peretta. Website to check it out is www.joinvi4.com. And remember, tell them 2 cents Sports News and Entertainment sent you.
All right, welcome back. We are 2 Cents Sports and Entertainment coming at you, finishing up the last couple segments here. And we will be coming on next week for our NFL draft pre-show, our NFL pre-draft show, excuse me. We are expecting a couple guests in with us. We'll have a little panel here, expecting at least for sure Vince Noble, who does the Vince Noble Show on Saturday mornings, and he'll be in here to I don't know. Zach's got it set up to do that. We're going to run a mock draft or whatever. I just figure it'd be more of going down the line and seeing who we felt certain teams needed as opposed to who we think they're going to take. Because I mean, there's a million mock drafts out there. We'll figure it all out. Either way, we're going to be talking about the draft one way or the other, whether it be that way or the other way or a combination of both. You know, I blame Zach for that.
Well, Vince told me that he's gonna either do a call-in or he'll be here. I got a feeling he'll end up being here, and then I'm working on another guest. Not going to disclose that information because if it doesn't happen, then I don't want to get everyone's hopes up.
Because we've done that enough already.
Church.
Yeah, we've been losing out to church for quite a bit with guests. So hopefully, when football season comes, though, we're probably gonna shift the show to Saturday mornings. We're gonna have to start gauging people's interest too to make sure that our time shift's gonna be good or better. Quite honestly, we should be doing that anyway to find out if even this is a good time for everybody.
Well,
yeah, obviously, because it's not.
Well, let me tell you,
in some cases,
it's
at
a
least
great
as far as
time
guests.
for some reason. It's a great time for our listeners, but it's a terrible time for our guests.
Yes, this is true. But at any rate, so make sure to tune in next week. Again, it's pretty much, unless something drastic happens during the week, sports-wise, we're pretty much going to be pretty heavy NFL talk next week for the draft that's coming up on the following Thursday. So, a week and a half away from the draft, and which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week. So even the week after that, we'll actually on our show we'll be kind of recapping the draft so far, while the last day will be going on while we're on the air. But those are the last couple rounds, and not too much happens or anybody cares much about those. So we'll know a lot more even at that point. But so next week got to be fun. We'll go back. We'll go through. We'll toss some ideas out there, what we think, and have a conversation. We'll definitely look forward to taking calls from people. We definitely want it to be a good interactive show next week. So definitely tune in for that. And we need to promote that pretty heavily this week too, Mr. Zach.
Oh, yeah, that will be done.
So, so with that being said, I actually just saw something before we get on the other topics that the Detroit Lions may be attempting to trade Ndamukong Suh.
What?
What?
Okay.
Well, now this could be a couple different things. He's up for contract renegotiations, and so far it hasn't been going that well. This could be a couple of things. This could be a ploy by the team to just kind of maybe gauge what they could possibly get for him. They could be covering their butts just to see what, worst case, if things don't work out in their attempts to renegotiate a contract with him, that if the interest is out there and they can get a decent amount of draft picks or what have you, maybe it's something they might want to consider. What are you laughing at?
I typed in the Detroit Lions trading Ndamukong Suh on Google, and the first thing that comes up was Calvin Johnson talking the post-touchdown dunk, and he's like, I don't care what anybody says. I'm still going to dunk.
I was looking at that too. It's on profootball.com, profootballtalk.com. But yeah, so he's currently taking up a lot of cap space, and he is looking for another mega contract along the lines of what you would normally pay a quarterback, not a defensive lineman.
Well, real quick, it says, and this is from NFL.com, Around the League's analyst Kevin Patra, and he says, should Detroit Lions trade Ndamukong Suh? And he reports that he says Detroit Lions are apparently doing their due diligence on a possible Ndamukong Suh trade. The Lions have conversed with other teams about trading him, and they say these talks are not even serious, according to a report from the Lions, merely feeling out what other teams might be willing to give up in terms of draft picks.
I think I just said that.
I don't think you did.
I do believe I said that. I just told you. But that's okay.
What the hell am I paying attention to then?
I don't know, man. You are just zoning out. That's exactly what I basically said. I said they're probably exploring their options, just seeing what kind of what kind of interest there is and what they might be able to get. And that way, if the contract negotiations stall, they might be able to they might be enough interest out there where they might want to pull the trigger on something.
Do you know how stupid I feel?
Any more than usual, probably. That is essentially what I said. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. But yeah, I mean, he becomes a free agent after next season. And was that your I'm a stupid picture?
No,
I just saw you take a selfie.
That was a selfie.
This is me being stupid, folks.
Or as I write on the blog, lifebehindthemicrophone.wordpress.com, if you guys want to check that out. They're self-portraits, sir. If you have to, high-end writing, self-portraits.
Anyway. So I don't blame Detroit for actually exploring that option. You got a guy that you're going to be a potential free agent after next season. Honestly, maybe you've gotten all the use you need out of him. You got some new things to go. I mean, he is he's continually gets yourself a lot of bad penalties. He does get suspended. Who knows if you got the right offer on the table and you can get a bunch of draft picks for him. Maybe it's something you want to explore, especially if you don't think you can re-sign him. At least this way you got a chance to really solidify your franchise with some potential draft picks. You certainly save some money on your salary cap. I think I'd have to take a hard look at that one. But at any rate, shifting gears a little bit from the NFL and talk about fighting on the field and so forth. There was a big UFC fight last night for anybody out there that might be Ultimate Fighting Championship fan. John Jones, probably one of the top pound for pound light heavyweight fighters in the world, was fighting, had a fight against Glover Teixeira, who actually in his own right has been, hasn't lost in forever himself. And it's quite a battle from what I understand. I unfortunately, I didn't really get to see it live. I had to catch some audio clips of it and just kind of kept a watch on it verbally.
I watched it live.
Yeah, did you?
I did.
How'd you manage to do that?
I'm not going to disclose because I'll have the feds at my home.
Oh, okay. That's right. The NSA probably saw what you were doing. But at any rate.
Anyway, so yeah, I was watching it, and I think John Jones definitely
won,
dominated. No, he dominated Glover Teixeira. He did.
Glover had won 20 straight fights too up to that.
Yeah,
point.
But the thing is John Jones is a hell of a fighter.
Yep. Oh, he's phenomenal. I mean, even the one loss that he's got is questionable, but but it did go the distance. So you can't ask more than that. That's also good. You got to build a fight like that. But you're right. He did dominate. For all intents and purposes, you saw probably not probably you saw more of it than I did. But they had Jones winning each and every round, 5-round contest, and unanimous decision, 50-45. John Jones won. So since Teixeira drops his record at 22-3 after winning 20 straight, but John Jones is something else. He's phenomenal, and he's actually, if you've ever listened to any of his interviews and so forth and so on, he's actually quite an interesting guy to talk to. Also, I like him the more and more I talk about him. So, but John Jones is definitely, like I said, the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, probably, in UFC competition. Mm-hmm. He is now on his own win streak of 11 straight fights. And remember, and I saw this fight too back in his only loss, like I said, which was very questionable. He was
Who did he lose to?
Matt Hamill.
Thank you.
The deaf guy. But it was a disqualification, and he was actually winning that fight quite handily. And it just happened to be an unfortunate thing that happened and caused a disqualification, and he ended up taking a loss. But honestly, he didn't really lose that fight. So I put an asterisk next to that one loss. But as much as I like Matt Hamill, he was not winning that fight. Mm-hmm. So that was the UFC. I don't think there were really any other fights on that card that were really worth talking about.
No, not really. There was, I didn't really. Because remember, we got home from the Storm game quite late. I only got to see John Jones. I had it turned on as soon as John Jones was coming out through the tunnel. So I didn't get a chance to see any fights. That's why I'm trying to get some calls to see if anybody enjoyed it. 813-639-8255 on the Butash and Donovan hotline.
There you go. There you have it. So,
I enjoy saying that. The Butash and Donovan hotline.
Say it one more time.
The Butash and Donovan hotline.
One more time.
Wacky Wave Inflatable Tube Man. Have you never seen that?
No.
Oh, well, I'm going to pull that up.
No.
Yeah.
Well, while you're doing that, we'll transition into baseball. Baseball's getting into full swing. And actually was able to catch a game last Sunday after leaving our show last week. Headed out to the ball game and went and caught the Yankees and Rays game and catch a little Derek Jeter. And that game ended up going into 12 innings. Yankees, good guys, ended up coming out on top 5-1 against the Rays. It was a very well pitched matchup for both teams, and it was a good day out at the ballpark. It's a good way to wrap up the day for sure. Sorry about my throat here, folks, and also I want to apologize for the scratchy video too. For some reason, when we're playing videos, it's coming through very scratchy, and I'm not really sure what's going on, so I want to apologize for that. But one thing I did happen to notice, outside of the Yankees, I also do like following the Cubs a little bit because it's my dad's favorite team, and so I kind of keep an eye on them as well. And we all know the Cubs absolutely stink right now. Although they do have one of the best young teams in baseball, and they got a lot of young talent in there, and they may very well be good here in a couple of years. But one of their star pitchers right now is Jeff Samardzija. Many of you may even recall that Jeff Samardzija used to play tight end for Notre Dame. That's what I remember. Anyway, he's been clearly the Cubs' best pitcher the last couple of years once Matt Garza left. Now, I mentioned Matt Garza simply because this is what I'm getting at. Samardzija is winless in his 5 starts this season for the Cubs, but his ERA is a 1.53. And he hasn't been able to get a decision yet in any of his starts because the Cubs stink so bad. It's quite a shame. Now, the Cubs are basically through one of they've been going through one of their worst 3 or 4 year periods in franchise history, which is saying a lot considering how bad the Cubs have been for almost ever, it seems. And Matt Garza has come out recently, and he obviously, you all know that Matt Garza no longer plays for the Cubs. He's with the Milwaukee Brewers now. Matt Garza did fare well with the Cubs as well, but his record didn't. He had a winning record, but it was only he's 21-18, and he got a lot of no decisions himself for the same exact reasons that Samardzija is having the problem, because the Cubs just can't score. So anyway, making a very short story very long, Matt Garza had some friendly advice for Jeff Samardzija, essentially telling him to pitch his way out of there if he doesn't want to stay with the Cubs. There's been a lot of talk about Samardzija wanting to get out of Chicago as well. I think, I can attest that you can only take losing so much before it just becomes tiresome, and you just got to get yourself out of a situation. So I guess Garza came out and said, all I can tell him is to keep pitching. Pitch your way out of it. Keep your eyes focused, your eyes straight forward ahead, and just pitch. There's nothing else you can do. I'm just guessing it means a little bit more than that. I know he's basically telling him it's not your fault. It's basically everybody else around you. I'm taking it a little bit differently. I'm saying that pitch your way out of it means start tanking so they get rid of you so you can go play for somebody else and hopefully be a little bit more successful. I don't know. Call me crazy, but that's
call him maybe. Hey,
let's not do that.
Sorry.
Let's not do that.
I'm bringing entertainment to this show. More entertainment than we already have.
Right. Well, the other connection I really like, and I really like Samardzija. I like his stuff, and the way he throws good ball. With the Yankees losing Ivan Nova for the season, I could see the Yankees maybe trying to push for a trade.
Mm-hmm.
I could very well see that. So I would love to. I'm hoping there was a whole lot of interconnection there, and I made a very short story very long, but it was an interesting baseball story that came out this week.
And remember, folks, and I know this is actually, my God, I just realized it's not that far off. Scuba and I will be hitting up the AAC tournament, the American Athletic Conference, in a few weeks. It's in mid-May. I believe it starts the 12th.
Is it that soon?
It's Scuba. It's that soon. I think it's somewhere. Let me tell you, it's somewhere in the second half of May, and hopefully the UConn Huskies will make it. That's our team. And the one thing we're probably going to get credentials for that, so you guys will be able to come see us on the field. Real quick. Okay, the reason that I really wanted to start talking about baseball was because I think MLB instant replays are completely ruining Major League Baseball. Now, before we get into this, I would like to show you John Farrell, the manager of the Boston Red Sox, and this was playing the Yankees, getting ejected for arguing an instant replay. And, had some vulgar comments, but no audio was there. Just watch and tell me what you guys think. Should managers be fined and suspended for arguing instant replays along with being ejected? I don't know.
Safe. Now, John Farrell saw the same replays up on the Jumbotron here that you saw at home. And he just got tossed out. And this is basically an automatic ejection. If you argue a play that's been under video review, you get tossed out. And John Farrell's probably more upset about the call that didn't go his way yesterday than the one that went against him here tonight.
Yeah, when we were talking to him today, you can tell how frustrated he was, and with the fact that they didn't have the right replays. And
so basically, and how the instant replay works is you can sit there and just like Steve and I were talking about yesterday.
Just real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
May 21st through the 25th at Bright House Field is when the American Athletic Conference Baseball Championships take place, hosted by your own USF. So those are the dates and times.
I apologize. My fault. But, yeah, I got the numbers switched, 12-21. But anyway, basically the rule is if you go out and argue an ejection, you're automatically tossed, and I believe John Farrell got fined and suspended for his comments towards umpire Bob Davidson, and Bob Davidson's probably one of the worst umpires I've ever seen in my entire life. But
playing my New York Yankees, I was actually watching that game. That was nothing greater than watching that happen.
Well, here's the thing. Okay. I think instant replays are ruining baseball. Here's the thing. It's not baseball. And here's the thing also. We were talking about it.
How many things are there?
I have a thing. But let me tell you, we were getting into, me and Steve were discussing it last night at the Storm game. A coach can go out and fake argue, sit there, oh, well, I don't know, maybe, what did you see, umpire? While there's coaches talking on the big red phone in the dugout, hey, I think you should challenge it. And the coach from the dugout will give the coach a signal, and he'll say, okay, now I would like to challenge. After you get to take a look at it for 20, 30 seconds. I don't agree. I think MLB instant replays need to be taken away. Your thoughts?
Well, we talked about it a little bit last night, and I don't think it needs to be taken away. I'll tell you that they are getting, when they do get the replays, they're getting some really bad calls correct, and there's nothing wrong with that. And baseball has long been one to not really institute a lot of modernization or change a lot of quote traditional things about itself. It's very hard to get baseball to change, which is really part of its downfall right now too. But there's some tweaking that needs to be done with regards to how the process is done. I am in agreement with you as regards to managers' ability to come out and challenge plays. Now, what shouldn't happen is that if there's a questionable play, that a manager is able to go out and fake argue with the umpire, fake argue with the umpire just so it can give enough time for somebody else to view the play on a replay and then signal out to him whether or not they're going to challenge the play or not. That I have a problem with, and and that's what I'm seeing a lot. Is it every questionable or every close call, a manager is strolling out to argue with the umpire, and he's really just there basically to delay time, and as if baseball games aren't long enough to begin with. My feeling is if you feel honestly that a close play or a call was not in your favor, and you truly believe at that very instant that it was a bad call, that's when you have to make the decision to challenge it or not challenge it. And if you can't do so, then you don't challenge it and you let it go. Or unless you have somebody on your bench that really at that moment can say, Coach, because you can't see everything. That's clear. Where you have maybe one of your other coaches or somebody else that is paying attention can say, you got to challenge it. You got to challenge it. But it shouldn't be a situation where you go out there, delay the game further while somebody else takes a look at the replay a couple more times, then signals out to you to challenge it. Then you challenge it. Now the umpire's got to go and review the plays himself. And that's where I disagree with it there, Zach.
Should probably turn my microphone
that
on.
would be a good start.
I'm sorry. I was reading your post about on Facebook, and I'm going to play the song when we come back from break.
Oh, don't do that.
And he posted, so we were on the field for pregame warm-ups.
This was last night.
Your co-host, Coach Zachary Cooper, is singing the theme song to Full House, word for word, SMH.
He was. Now, let me set this up. I'd rather you don't play it, and I certainly don't want you singing it again.
Okay.
But
whatever happened to
pre-game for the Storm games, getting way off topic again.
Yeah, but it's funny.
When the other team is out doing warm-ups, they always play really corny, goofy songs or
Put your left foot in and put your left.
Yeah, the hokey pokey, or Disney songs, songs that are basically not going to get you pumped up in any way. They're going to kind of lull you to sleep.
I've definitely dozed off a few times.
Yeah, it's just kind of a tactic to use so a team can't doesn't get all fired up while they're going through their stretching and so forth. It's kind of amusing, but the bad thing is you've got to sit through listening to it as well. So anyway, so they decided that one of the songs they were going to play was the theme song to Full House, the old 80s and 90s show, the Olsen twins when they were babies and grew up to be actually young ladies. John Stamos and some other.
He's hot.
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget!
Yeah. Anyway, apparently Zach is a big fan of that show, even though it was on before he was even born.
Well, so is Roseanne.
Yeah.
I still watch Roseanne religiously.
At any rate, the whole point being is that we're out there, the song comes on, I didn't even know what it was at first, and then I look over at Zach and he's freaking singing the song, word for word, right along with it. And I didn't know what was going on. And
whatever happened to predictability? The Milkman, the Paperboy, evening TV.
Wow.
Were you going to let me keep going?
I'm just... you got me speechless. Because we were talking about baseball, and now I got you singing the theme song to Full House. So anyway, back to baseball, if we would. Just to clarify, you were meant UConn probably still will be in that tournament. They are not having a very good season. They're 21-21 right now. They're in the midst of getting swept by Louisville. They currently have third game of a 3-game set with them going on here in about 20 minutes. They've lost the first 2 games 2-0 and 6-1. They can't seem to put anything together but a bunch of losing streaks and win streaks and then losing streaks and win streaks, losing streaks. It's been a 500 baseball team, and it's not got anything to do with anything other than they've just got no hitting. And it seems of late that even their pitching has gone south a little bit on them. So they'll be here. They'll qualify. They've got only got a handful of games left. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 14 more games to go. They actually finish up with UCF, but up in Connecticut. And then they'll be here, like I said, May 21st through, Probably not through May 25th because that would be the championship day. But they'll be here probably that first day, the 21st, which is a Wednesday. Wednesday through Sunday is the whole tournament. It'd be nice if they at least make it to the weekend, because if they don't, I'm probably not going to be a part of it because I'm not sure I can get those days off from work. So we will see, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how it transpires, and it's a good time. And what we're working on right now is getting some people to come out to these things. It's college baseball, if you haven't really given it a shot, is actually it's a pretty interesting time in Clearwater. Listen, it's not even just about always being about baseball. I mean, just being outside in a baseball stadium, and let's be honest, a lot of people don't actually come out to this event, so there's plenty, I mean literally plenty of seats, thousands of seats empty, so you can kind of spread out, enjoy a day outside, nice quiet, baseball games going on. They have a little they have a Frenchie's Tiki Bar out in left field. They have off on the right field side. They got a whole grassy area in the outfield. You can actually sit out there on a blanket, or if you have kids can run around. Or you can sit in the seats. They have some shaded areas and some that aren't, and it's just a nice, quiet, relaxing day. It's not, you don't have to go all the way out to the beach and deal with all that beach traffic and sand and all the nastiness. You can just kind of sit out a day out in the ballpark, just chill and relax.
Yeah, well, you guys can come see us down in the first row. Yeah, we sit right next to the dugout, and not that hard to find a good seat.
Nope. Sure, and that's what I was saying while you were on the phone.
I was on the phone. I apologize.
Yep. So I was carrying us there for a moment.
I'm going to Beefs after this.
Yeah. That actually sounds kind of good.
It does. You want to go?
I could down some wings.
Do you want to go?
I don't know. I got to check in. I got to check in with the wife. She took off this morning and took the baby down to Bayshore to go running. And
so, really? The baby's going to run?
She puts the baby in a stroller and runs with the stroller. Yes.
Oh, fine.
And then she had a couple other places she was going to stop, but I have to check in and find out if I'm going to have some free time to myself this afternoon or if I need to come home. So I will let you know.
Yeah, well, I'm going to head out to Beast about 1:30 right on 54. So come on, check me out.
Oh, out on 54?
Well, it's the one on Sunset. It's right by the Lutz Chiefs football fields.
Oh, okay. On 41, you mean?
Oh, my bad. My fault.
Yeah,
on 41. So come check me out. I'll be there. I'll sign autographs from 1 to 3.
I didn't even realize there was one there until just a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
It's right in the corner of that little strip. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
I'll be the one. I was like 54. No, you're on. Yeah, that's on. Yeah, 41.
I'll be there signing autographs from about 1:30 to 3.
Good Lord.
But no, I think I would definitely say that instant. I on the topic of instant replays again. Just figuring I'd go back to that for the next 5-10 minutes, whatever. Blah blah blah. I think that it needs to go, and I say that only because it's ruining baseball.
Well, okay, but how is it ruining baseball outside of what I already mentioned about it delaying it even further?
Because it's not baseball. Here's the thing, and with taking instant replays away from football. It's not football without coaches challenging, but it's not baseball without a coach going out and arguing his butt off without being fined, suspended, and ejected for it. Because now if you argue an instant replay, you're fined, suspended, and ejected.
But if you've already gone through the challenge process and they've done the replay and they either stick with the call or they reverse it, then what's left to argue?
Well, and that was what was in the video with John Farrell. They did, and I'm not going to sit here and say that he's right, but there's certain views that umpires get. They get a few shots, and if they see something different, Well,
listen, for the most part, I mean, I've seen more replays get the call right than I've seen any replays not get something right. And in that one particular instance you were talking about, yes, it was clear that they didn't reverse something that they should have, and they got it wrong. But I have seen more corrections than I've seen anything else, and I don't see a problem with that.
Well, and here's the thing, and I mean, backing away from my stance on it, I definitely think an instant replay would have helped Armando Galarraga when Jim Joyce took away his perfect game a few years ago.
Absolutely.
But,
Well, and, look, the NFL didn't have instant replay, for almost ever. And I think everybody at this point is okay with it.
Yeah.
Not everybody. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think for the most part, most people are okay with it. They've had to tweak some things here and there. This is the first time baseball is finally, outside of a home run call, has actually taken the next step now and actually doing it for the areas where they really screw up. And that's, don't tell me that, in the 1985 World Series that Kansas City Royals wouldn't have liked to have had Don Denkinger be able to go into a dugout and look at an instant replay. I mean, one of the most famous blown calls in baseball. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, no, and I guess, you know what? I mean, I guess we're in agreement that it does delay the game extensively.
What was that word again?
Delays the game?
No, before that. Agreeance? Is that a new word?
Agreeance.
Agreement? We're in agreement?
We're in agreement.
We're in agreement?
Agreeance.
We're in agreement?
Agreeance is a word.
No, it is not.
I swear to God, I'm going to look that up. But anyway, we agree, that it does delay the game. Agreeance. Found it. First time I searched it on Google.
Yeah, what's it tell you?
Agreeance is a word that seems to be continually reinvented and recycled. The term first appeared in the 16th century and enjoyed, here we go. Is agreeance a proper word? Many people in my area use the word agreeance, and I find it irksome. Agreeance. Noun. The act of agreeing. Example. Usage of the site constitutes agreeance with the terms. Usage. Considered absolute in the bastardization of agreement. Agreeance is a word.
No. You're not using it properly.
Whatever. We agree that it delays the game.
Yes.
Should it? I think it should be just like football. You get to look at the replay one time on the board, and if you either challenge it or you don't.
Well, I don't even know with that. I mean, listen, because baseball is such a bang bang type of call and play, and look, we understand that calls are going to get missed. I mean, I've tried umpiring before, and it's brutal. I don't like it, but you have to admit.
Did you ever throw anybody out?
No, but listen to me. You have to admit that in all sports, actually, that they have progressively seemed to have gotten worse. And, you sit, as we were talking about going to these college baseball games and stuff like that, how many times do we sit there and ride the umpires and get on them?
Well, we do that
because
in
of bad
sport.
calls. Yes. But why do we do that? Because they're so bad and they miss such blatantly, well, in our minds anyway, look like easy calls to make. Now, what's the alternative? If you have a way to possibly correct that matter, look, you say that, what I got from what you said is that you're okay with it in football for some reason, but you're not okay with it in baseball, which doesn't really make any sense.
I just think it's because it's not baseball.
Well, hear me. Well, so baseball is supposed to just continually be a game of blown calls and
but not all calls are blown.
No, they're not, but they're not always very good either. And but football's the same way. So why is it okay in football?
Well, you can't challenge every play in football.
No, you can't, and I don't think they're allowing that in baseball either.
I was under the conception that they were.
No, you'd have somebody out there challenging every single play. No, I think you're limited in what you can do, how many you can do. But you can't. Yeah, you can't just challenge every single play. But anyway, my point here's where I was going with this is that yes, it does delay the game, but does reviewing the replay of a potentially bad call or play delay the game any further by reviewing the play as opposed to a manager that coming out there yelling, kicking, screaming and ranting and going on and on about something that's not going to be changed?
I guess it's the entertainment value.
Well, all right, fine, but then at the end of all that, you've got a delay in the game. The call's never going to be changed because it's baseball, as you say. in this regard,
it's been changed. I've seen it been changed.
It does
instant replay.
Very rarely. Oh, that's only usually.
No, okay,
but that's
you
done
are right
usually,
on that.
Not usually changing a call like a safe call or an out call. Most of the time,
it's balls and strikes.
Well, or it's a situation, or it's like a situational rule type of thing where they have to. What's the rule dictate in this particular situation? Was this the right call given the rule?
Right.
So. My point is that if you take out the aspect of the umpire, the manager running out there, fake arguing with the umpire, then forcing the issue to challenge the play, then they go and replay it, then they come back, then you've got a double delay in the game. So if we took out the aspect where the manager comes running out there and does the fake argument, if you eliminate that aspect of it and just they have you have to make a decision before the next pitch if you're going to challenge a call or not, then maybe that's I don't know the answer. All I know is that what's going on right now can't continue. You cannot just go running out there, fake argue, wait for someone to signal you, and then you all of a sudden decide you're going to then challenge and then want to replay, because now you've double the time amount of the delay. So if you eliminate the part where the manager runs out and he has, again, whether it be before the next pitch or whatever, or he has 1 minute to make a decision, whatever it is. Then they throw the challenge, then they challenge the play. Then I don't think you're losing any more time than you would before, because you're eliminating the arguing part that doesn't actually change a play. You're putting in the replay, which has conceivably about the same amount of time as the manager arguing, and then you have a chance to get the play right. And that's, I think, ultimately what's important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my position on it. So I think there's still some tweaking to go. I think it's a good idea to have in place. It shouldn't be designed where you can challenge every single play, like you were concerned about.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be double argued. It shouldn't be argued, then replayed, and then certainly can't be argued again.
And remember, folks, this is just for ones that don't really know much about the sports. And when he says fake argue, they're not going out there and doing this.
And Pinilla's out to argue. What a great call. You're doing a fantastic job, but people expect me to come out here and be upset, so I'm going to kick some dirt. You understand? Yeah, I understand that. Well, lately I've been feeling happy and content. Yeah, you seem different. Lou is really giving it to him. You better kick me out of this game. I've got a reputation to uphold. Fine, you're out of here. Say hello to the message. I will. You do the same. Drinking water.
That's awesome. I'm glad you found that.
See, now that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about they're actually going out there and questioning like a rule call, just like Steve said, like a rule and this and that, while the assistant coach is on the phone, challenge it, and then the assistant coach lifts the hat up, challenge it or not.
Yep, that's it. So, yeah, that's the way it should be. And I'm sure they're probably looking into that. I mean, this is the first year of instituting the expanded replay portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, as with anything new that's instituted, you got to run with it, find out where there might be potential issues, and you got to try to fix it.
Yeah.
And I'm certain that it will be fixed, and there'll be some changes, and whether they do it over the course of this season, or they decide they have to wait till the end of the season, whatever. I'm certain this is not how it's going to continue, and they'll probably, they'll tweak it like anything else. And then eventually those that are against it, like you, will probably come around and be fine with it.
Oh, I'm with you.
I mean, as long as they're getting the calls right, and again, it doesn't become a situation where they're reviewing each and every play,
mm-hmm.
and further delaying the games, then that's fine. I mean, the biggest issue baseball has right now is still making sure that is getting these games to be a little bit shorter. There's been some drastic things thrown out there by certain authors and stuff like that, maybe shortening the games to 7 innings instead of 9. I'm not advocating that. I'm just telling you some crazy things that have been thrown out there. I don't think that you go and change, what that kind of aspect of the game. Although, softball only plays 7 innings, so, but the problem with something like that is that you're losing a lot of innings and so forth, and you end up ultimately changing your record books conceivably.
Right.
But at the same time, what I'm in favor of, which really actually doesn't have anything to do with speeding up the game any, I'm in favor of game reductions. I'd rather see the baseball season cut down to maybe about 148 games.
Yes.
From 162. This season is just way too long, and quite honestly, my interest level is very little in the beginning of a baseball season, and it's even less so, towards the end when a lot of things are written up. They've done some things to help that, expanding the playoffs and stuff, so making it more interesting towards the end of the season. But the beginning of the season, my interest is, I pay attention somewhat, and but I'm not really, I got to watch this game. I got to watch this game. I got to watch this game. It's just too early in the season to really give two craps. It really is. When you got 162 games, I really could almost care less about the first 62 games. I'll start getting into it a little bit later. So, but as far as speeding up the games, we got to stop with the pitchers, dinking around on the mound. We got to get back to the old school where the pitcher got the ball back. He was already looking to throw the next pitch. Now you got the throw the ball back. The pitcher takes a step around the back, wipes his forehead, takes his hat off, wipes his forehead again, picks up the rosin bag, shakes that a couple times, then goes back up to his hat and fiddles around, then looks at the catcher. There's supposed to be a time limit on how long, before you, in between pitches, and I have yet to see them ever institute that or call that rule. That's something that just needs to be changed. Yeah. You gotta start enforcing some of these rules,
Yep.
batters that step out of the box every single pitch and do the same thing, pull up their sleeves on each play, adjust the armor that they're wearing now, shift their helmet, grab dirt on the ground and put their hands together. So the batters are just equally as bad too. That just constantly back out of the batter's box and do their little ritual routines, and gotta touch this area 2 or 3 different times, and I gotta tap my hat 3-5 times.
Yep.
And whatever the stupid traditions are.
Exactly. You should only be allowed to step out of the box, look at your coach for a sign, and then get your butt right back in the box.
Yep. You shouldn't be able to go through a whole dressing routine.
Because remember, folks, I pitched for a while, and I'm never comparing what I did to Major League Professional Baseball, but I know damn well that it doesn't take 50 seconds for me to throw a next pitch. I throw a fastball. I'd get back on the mound. I'd shake my arm out a little bit, gets right back set up on the mound, look at the catcher, and throw the pitch. It's nothing. There's no reason why a baseball game needs to last 5 hours.
Right, exactly. So, but anyhow, real quickly, because we are running up against the top of the hour, I'm gonna be remiss if I at least didn't mention it. And obviously, I come dressed like it today. Hockey playoffs are still continuing on. Our local Tampa Bay Lightning, unfortunately, ended up getting swept by the Montreal Canadiens, which is horrible.
Yeah,
it was a terrible effort on their part, and disgusted by it. Good news is Boston Bruins, after losing first game to the Detroit Red Wings, ended up winning the next 4, just won their series, wrapped it up yesterday afternoon, winning that series 4-1, and they get a chance to avenge the Lightning's loss to the Canadiens, and now we'll face the Canadiens in the second round of the playoffs, and I am looking forward to it. I love NHL hockey, and I definitely love NHL hockey playoffs. There's nothing like it. I will take it over pretty much anything, even NFL.
Well, no, not for me.
Yep, for me, absolutely. And even more so live.
Live, it's the best sport to watch, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. So, at any rate, we got that going on. We got some of the Western series still continuing. St. Louis and Chicago actually pick up their series here in a couple hours. St. Louis have won the first 2 games. Chicago, defending Stanley Cup champions, have won 3 straight to take a 3-2 series lead. It's back in Chicago today. St. Louis has become quite a disappointment towards the end of the season and going into the playoffs. We've got the Rangers and Flyers actually in action right now. That series is tied at 2. The Rangers are up 1-0 at the end of the first period. We also got the Anaheim Ducks and Dallas Stars possibly wrapping up their series tonight. Anaheim does lead that series 3-2. Dallas is back at home. They do have to win to continue to force a Game 7, otherwise they will be eliminated. So hockey playoffs are moving along, and I'm not even going to talk about the NBA playoffs because I could care less. So, and we don't have enough time.
And I know we don't, but just real quick, the NBA playoff games have actually been pretty damn good. Whether the NBA is good or not, the playoffs have been surprisingly great.
They're actually, there was a buzzer beater yesterday. Dallas Mavericks hit an impossible not impossible, but a crazy buzzer beater 3-pointer to beat the Spurs, who have been the odds-on favorite to come out of the West, and it's not looking that way because Dallas have actually now taken a 2-1 series lead over the Spurs and are not going to make it easy. But so they won 109-108 yesterday. So that's about the NBA talk today.
Yep.
So, but we are up against it. I do want to thank everybody for listening, and if you have not done so, please go to our Facebook page. Give us a like on there. The more likes we have, the more exposure we can get out there to other people. We were actually able to pick up quite a few likes this week. I have found a new way to try to do that, by the way. We will, if you have a band that you're in or a band you would like to promote, we're more than, obviously you can see that we're more than willing to do that. We'll promote your band. If you have a business or anything like that you want to promote, I'll let Zach give you the details on how to do that. We'll do that too. In other words, if you want to be a sponsor of our show, we're open to doing all that kind of thing for you. So give us a like on our Facebook page. Stay tuned. We also put our updates on there and what's going to be on the show in the coming week. At least we try to do that. And as always, appreciate y'all listening. And hopefully we didn't get any calls today, but I'm not surprised. But we'll get some hopefully next week. Again, next week is our NFL draft show, so please stay tuned in for that one. And we definitely would like you to call in for that with some of your opinions. We'll be going. We're going to have several different opinions going on that day, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. Without further ado, before I sign off for final, I'll take you to the coach.
Hello, everyone. Real quick, if you guys would like to check me out on Twitter at 2CentZach. Twitter became really handy with the Donald Sterling topic. Real quick, if you guys would like to check us out on Facebook, it is the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. Check out the website. Don't check out the website. Not launched yet. Will be launched, though. The domain will be 2centsports.com. Check me out on Instagram, Coach Zach Cooper, because you guys get to see all the great selfies that I take in studio at the Storm games, etc., etc. If you guys would like to call the 2 Cents offices, go ahead and give us a call, 813-344-9964. That's where you can talk to me, because I work mainly in the office. Scuba has his own office. 813-344-9964. You guys can call me about sponsorships. Anything you'd like to talk about, give us your feedback. Email us, 2centszach@gmail.com or scuba.2cents@gmail.com. Thank you, Brandon Stillchild. Thank you, Stillchild, for promoting the awesome music. That's it for me and everybody else here from Talkwad Studios. I am the coach.
That's it, folks. And so, again, stay tuned. And next Sunday, big draft special, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will have some in-studio guests, and we will definitely be taking your calls and opinions. Thanks again for listening. I am Scuba, and I am out of here.
And me, so say the stars, it's meant to be. My heart is for you.
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for New Media Broadcasting.